I can't perfectly see that camera, but I'm trying to put that ball pretty centered in my feet. The other video I took, the ball looked a little bit back, but I think it was camera angle. I'll tell you the one thing though I feel is if I take my center, a little bit is experimenting, but I actually just hit the last one before I started this video really good. But I felt like, and I've noticed this with myself personally, is feeling like I dropped my center just a little bit more. Not that I'm bending or crouching down further, but just that I take my center. So where my belt buckle is now, that kettlebell's hanging between my knees. Whereas if I kind of do this, it's still between my knees, but it's a little bit further back. And what that does is that keeps me off of my toes. So I don't want anything moving towards my toes really at all. I'm trying to avoid that as basically 99.9% of the time. I'm trying to stay back here. I'm never trying to get anything bleeding this way. So I just feel personally like when I structure that kettlebell just a little bit more back, you see I can wiggle my toes. I can still cover the ball with my chest. I can feel real centered, like that ball, that kettlebell doesn't move out of its position. And then there's a little bit of transition. Now here's the thing, if I do it at fast speed, what's gonna happen, my body's gonna go that way and the kettlebell is actually gonna fall backwards a little bit. So it's, when I do it slow on the camera, you'll see that the kettlebell actually shifts with that momentum. But when it happens fast, it's gonna stabilize and stay steady for a second before it goes that way. The idea behind this, though, is to really make practice swings where you feel that the kettlebell stays centered and then you shift. And what would happen if I do that slow, because there's not enough speed yet, the momentum of the kettlebell is going to go with it. Whereas if I do it with speed, it's going to almost fall backwards a little bit. So I want to try to create that feel, that sensation of that shift in a little bit of a rotation by going at that pace, so that when I do it at a higher speed, I'm just trying to resemble that in the back of my mind. Okay, so a little bit more back, good turn. So that was pretty good. So I could feel, I tried to go slow, which is hard to do. I tried to go slow so I could feel it transition a little bit with it. Now, if you do that with your lower body kind of slow, the excitement level of your hands trying to hit it's going to happen, which is very natural. So I'm just trying to let it, almost in a way, everything swing casual. So a little bit of kettlebell shift, and then just try and see if I can sequence the upper part without trying to hit it real hard with my hands, but try to keep the rotation a little bit better. A little bit more rotation upper body. So a little, sinking that a little bit back. I'm already covering the ball with my chest. That was quite a bit better. And that ball flew just a little bit straighter. The one before, because my hands were a little fast, I just pulled it a little bit. So I don't know how that looks on the video. I can slow it all down and look at it, but that's the feeling, that's the sensation.